Clumsy one. We do not run away from danger. One faces it.
After the last Star Wars movie left a lot of fans disappointed, Disney's playing it safe with their next move. Instead of handing things over to new directors with fresh ideas, they're sticking with what's worked lately: The Mandalorian and Grogu. It's a safe choice, but it could still be pretty exciting. When The Mandalorian first dropped, it felt like a fresh new direction for Star Wars, keeping that classic vibe fans loved, but with something different. Now, though, it feels like Din Djarin has become Disney's go-to option, safe and marketable. With The Mandalorian and Grogu hitting theaters in 2026 and Season 3 setting the stage, we're left wondering what big adventure awaits them next that's movie-worthy. Right now, the plot of the film is all just guesses, but one thing's clear: Season 3 really shook things up. We saw characters form new alliances, power dynamics shift, and some threads left intentionally open. I want to dig into a few of the major developments from Season 3 that seem like they could play a big role in shaping the story of The Mandalorian and Grogu, and maybe even where the wider Star Wars universe is headed in both film and TV. Let's kick things off with a big shift. Din Djarin is basically working for the New Republic now. It's not exactly official, but it's close enough. By the end of Season 3, he and Captain Carson Teva pretty much shook on an agreement. Din and Grogu will help the New Republic take down rogue Imperials one mission at a time. Not bad for a guy who started out working for the Imperial Remnant back in the pilot episode. This setup opens up all kinds of doors for the movie. With Din and Grogu acting as unofficial bounty hunters for the New Republic, there's no telling what kind of threats they might stumble into. Maybe a mission goes off the rails, or they uncover a brand new enemy hiding in the shadows. There's also the possibility they cross paths with Grand Admiral Thrawn and his crew, though that might get saved for Ahsoka Season 2, or Dave Filoni's upcoming Star Wars film. Still, this new role puts Din and Grogu in a perfect spot for some big screen action. Another big development is that Din Djarin officially adopted Grogu as his apprentice, so now he can actually train him to be a full-on Mandalorian. Season 3 really cemented their bond, not just as partners, but as a true father and son duo. Grogu even got a new name, Din Grogu. It's kind of what their relationship already felt like, but now it's been made official, and that gives their journey a whole new direction. Back in the early seasons, Din's main goal was to protect Grogu and eventually get him back to the Jedi. But now that Grogu's gotten stronger and unlocked more of his Force abilities, Din's focus has shifted. He's training Grogu to walk the Mandalorian path, just like his own mentor once did for him. The next Star Wars movie could totally center around that, maybe a big quest that acts as Grogu's rite of passage, kind of echoing Din's own early days. Another cool detail from The Mandalorian Season 3 is that it quietly introduced another New Republic agent at Adelphi base, Zeb Orrelios. If you're a Star Wars Rebels fan, you probably recognized him in his quick cameo during Episode 5, The Pirate. Zeb was part of the Ghost crew and fought the Empire alongside Ezra, Kanan, and Hera. Now, we know he's still around, training recruits for the New Republic at Adelphi Outpost. And good news, exclusive footage confirms Zeb will be back in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. We don't know yet how big his role will be, but he's a great character to bring into the mix. Teaming him up with Din and Grogu would be a fun combo, especially since his own crew once included both Jedi and a Mandalorian. There's definitely room for some meaningful conversations and some awesome action while taking on whatever Imperial threat shows up next. We also can't forget that the Imperial Shadow Council is still very much a thing, and they're definitely not done causing trouble for the New Republic. In The Mandalorian Season 3 Episode 7, Moff Gideon gathered the council and gave us a look at who's still pulling strings behind the scenes. While Gideon's finally out of the picture, we were introduced to heavy hitters like Admiral Palion, a loyal Thrawn guy, and Commandant Brendol Hux. Yep, General Hux's dad from the sequel trilogy. These characters are a key link between the old Empire and the rise of the First Order. Any of them could step up as the main villain in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, but rumor has it Johnny Coyne might play an Imperial warlord who takes that spot. He's possibly tied to the pirate crew we've already seen in the show, which could tie things together nicely. That might actually be the smarter move, saving Palion for Thrawn's story and keeping Hux in the background until the First Order is ready to emerge. Either way, it sounds like Din and Grogu won't be short on enemies. Now, let's talk about one of the most emotional reveals from The Mandalorian Season 3. We finally found out who saved Grogu during Order 66. It was none other than Jedi Master Kelleran Beck. That twist dropped in Episode 4, The Foundling, and let's be real, no one saw that coming. Ahmed Best, who originally played Jar Jar Binks, returned to the Star Wars universe in a totally new and surprisingly badass role. While it was super satisfying to finally get that piece of the puzzle, it also opened up a whole bunch of new questions. Like, what happened to Kelleran after he helped Grogu escape? There's still a huge time gap, almost 30 years, between Order 66 and when Din Djarin meets Grogu in Season 1. What went down during all that time, and how did it shape who Grogu is now? If Din's mission in the movie is to train Grogu as a Mandalorian, maybe part of that journey includes digging into Grogu's past, maybe even finding out what became of Master Beck. That kind of emotional backstory could add a whole new layer to their bond and the overall story. Oh, and we can't forget, the Mythosaur is real and chilling in the living waters of Mandalore. This legendary beast, teased way back in Season 1, actually showed up in Season 3, which was a pretty wild surprise. According to Mandalorian lore, ancient warriors used to ride these massive creatures, so it feels like the show is totally setting something up there. Maybe even Din riding one eventually? And let's not overlook Grogu. He's already shown he can bond with giant creatures using the Force. Remember the Rancor in the Book of Boba Fett? If Mandalore gets attacked again by the Shadow Council, pirates, or whoever, the Mythosaur could come in clutch. It would also be a huge character moment if Grogu were the one to connect with it, kind of blending his Jedi abilities with Mandalorian traditions. That's the kind of moment that would look epic on the big screen and really push Grogu's story forward. And here's a big one. Mandalorians are finally starting to accept different tribes and customs. We saw a lot of conflict between clans in the past, like the new Mandalorians wanting peace and Death Watch pushing for war. Even after Death Watch took over, they couldn't agree on which leader to follow. But after Season 3 of The Mandalorian, we're seeing something different. Two traditionally opposing factions, Bo-Katan's group and Din's clan, came together to retake Mandalore. That's huge. If these groups can come together and set aside their differences, it opens up so many possibilities for a new Mandalorian society. And this isn't just about Mandalore's future, it could totally change how Din Djarin and Grogu fit into Mandalorian culture. With the foundation laid in Season 3, The Mandalorian and Grogu will likely explore how this new society forms and how the characters grow in that environment. Well, that's it for today. What are you most excited to see in The Mandalorian and Grogu movie? Do you think Din and Grogu's journey will uncover more about Grogu's past or lead them into an all-new adventure? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on everything Star Wars and beyond. We'll see you next time.